How would you like to improve your health and keep your family safe? You're listening to the Healthy Home Hacks Podcast, where we firmly believe enjoying optimal health shouldn't be a luxury. Healthy Home Authorities and husband and wife team Ron and Lisa will help you create a home environment that will level up your health. It's time to hear from the experts. Listen in on honest conversations and gain the best tips and advice. If you're ready to dive in and improve your well-being and increase your energy, you're in the right place. All right, here are your hosts, bowel biologists, authors, media darlings, vicarious vegans, and avocado aficionados, Ron and Lisa Barris.
Hello, friends, and welcome to today's show. If you're having trouble sleeping, you're in the right place. Today, about 50 to 70 million Americans have sleep or wakefulness disorders and are associated with a growing number of health problems, including heart disease, high blood pressure, stroke, diabetes, obesity, and certain cancers. You've probably tried everything from reducing the lighting, adjusting the thermostat, to incorporating white noise machines, or maybe even trying aromatherapy diffusers in a desperate attempt to assure yourself of some well-needed quality Z's.
But before you run out to buy a new mattress or invest in blackout curtains, new linens, or even a new pillow, ask yourself if the solution to your sleep woes is something much bigger. You may not be aware of an invisible culprit that could be greatly impacting your sleep quality and comfort. This hidden hazard in your home is silent, and it's linked to a number of health problems, including respiratory issues and allergies, which can cause discomfort and make it difficult to fall or even stay asleep.
What is it? Indoor air quality, or IAQ. Indoor air pollution levels today in homes are 2 to 5 times higher, up to 100 times worse than outdoor air pollution on average. Someone who is with us today to shed light on this extremely important topic is air quality nerd, wife, mom, tree hugger, sports enthusiast, and leader at IQAir North America. Yeah.
Glory Dolphin-Hamas is an expert in environmental control, a certified indoor environmentalist, and a licensed HVAC contractor. Glory began her tenure with IQAir as one of the youngest CEOs in America. She oversaw the launches of IQAir's Health Pro series and the Air Visual platform, allowing air quality data to be shared around the world. Her inspiration and passion for clean air for all led to the IQAir Foundation, a nonprofit focused on providing clean air for kids, focusing on air quality filtration technology and monitoring in schools located in the most polluted communities in the U.S.
Glory is our neighbor here in Southern California and lives with her husband, Frank, and their 2 boys. Welcome to the show, Glory. Yes.
Woo-hoo! Thank you. Awesome. Thanks for having
The
me.
indoor air queen. Yes, she's here.
Yes, air quality nerd.
I saw that online. I'm like, I'm going to steal that. A very cute nerd. Well, Glory, welcome. We are so thrilled to have you with us today. This is going to be such a fantastic show. We are huge fans of IQAir and all of the work and all of the solutions that you guys offer. So thank you again for being with us.
Oh, thank you. And I'm also a huge fan of your show, and I've been following you guys for years.
Oh, awesome. Well, kindred spirits indeed.
Yeah.
Let's get right to it. I know our listeners are chomping at the bit. We know how important sleep is when it comes to our attention, learning and memory, and physical health. So how does air quality impact our sleep?
So air quality impacts our sleep in so many different ways. It actually comes down to good air quality is the essence truly of good sleep. So air quality, we're talking about temperature. We're talking about also the cleanliness of the air, but it really begins with something that a lot of us don't really know about, which is our air pollution. So the quality of our air dramatically affects our sleep. It not only affects our ability to get to sleep, but it also affects our ability to stay asleep.
Yeah, that's such a huge problem today. People, they fall asleep and then they wake up and then they can't get back to sleep, the insomnia. It's an epidemic, right? The sleep issues that people deal with today. out of control.
Right.
And people just aren't really paying attention to their environment per se, especially what they can't see. They might look at their bedding, like I mentioned at the top, but they're not really looking at this invisible thing all around us called indoor air quality.
Right.
What are some simple steps our listeners can take at home right now to improve their air and their sleep quality?
Well, first of all, you really need to control the temperature. We sleep at a much higher temperature sometimes than actually we should. So it's better to really make sure that our air is as cooled down as it should be in order to keep us asleep. Some of the times we also look at our bedding, but there's also air quality that affects our bedding in terms of dust mites and dust mite allergens as well. So we actually do not change out our bedding as often as we need to.
Yes,
We also don't even wash our bedding, believe it or not,
I believe it.
as often as we need
Why are you
to.
looking at us when you say that, Glory?
I'm not trying to name names or anything, but no.
Better not be us.
No.
No, it's true, Gloria. It's something that I feel like you've been in your industry for such a long time. We've been in our industry for a long time. And you just, sometimes you feel like a broken record, like repeating the same information, like change that bedding, change those mattresses, change your pillows every 2 years.
Pillows.
Yeah, pillows every 2 years. And simple things that you can do that we've taught our community is putting your pillow in the dryer to kill dust mites, right?
Absolutely.
If you can't get a new pillow, it's not in the budget or you're not even quite ready. And one of my little tips that I love is whenever Ron and I travel, I take an organic baby pillow with me. It's just a baby pillow. So it's made for babies, but it makes a perfect travel size.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, I take it in my carry-on and then I use it in the hotel instead of the hotel pillows because as we know,
They are disgusting.
they're disgusting.
Just as an air quality expert, I know you and Ron both know, Lisa, but as an air quality expert, it is just unfathomable just to think about all of the ickiness and cooties
Yeah,
involved
literally cooties.
in hotel pillows.
Yeah, I think it was University of Manchester who did a study and found the average pillow had 4 different species, 4 different fungi, 16 different species of fungi in the average pillow.
Oh, yeah.
Now imagine a hotel where someone new is sleeping on it every night. And yeah, they changed the pillowcase,
Right.
but obviously we know saliva and drool and germs and viruses and all of
Oh,
this
my goodness.
penetrate through that fabric. So I don't mean to gross everybody out, but like your pillow is really important.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're touching on that.
Yeah.
And you mentioned keeping the air cool, and I completely agree with that. Do you have a magic number for the temperature we should be living in?
Yeah, that's what I want to jump into. That's the tough question because I know energy conservation, we're all into that too, right? But we're also into
Yeah.
the health of our home and how we can live optimum lives. It needs to be cold at night. And I know that us
needs to
living
be
in
cold.
California,
We
there's
gotta
some
snuggle
rules
with
that
our
say
blankets.
don't lower your AC to a certain amount.
Yeah.
We're putting you on the hot seat, Glory. What temperature should it be at night for the bedroom?
Yeah.
Well, I have to say, as an HVAC contractor, I keep my air relatively warmer, especially during the summertime. So I'm not one of those icebox kind of folks. I know that there's those icebox kinds of folks out there that just, when you walk into your home, it feels absolutely like you're in the icebox. That's not me at all because I spent a lot of time over the years in Europe where there's not even air conditioning.
Yeah.
So we tend to cool just to the level that makes us comfortable.
Mhm.
So in my home, actually, when it's 90 degrees outside, in my home, I'll have it set at about 75 degrees.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
So I definitely do not overcool and I don't like to have cold air. And when I'm sleeping during the winter time, it's actually, we need to heat in California during the winter time, especially this year. We're in an El Nino year. So we really do need to heat during this time. But I heat actually our air to 68 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm one of those energy conservationists. I don't overheat and I definitely don't overcool. So you'll see when it's really hot out there, my home, it'll just be at 75. But one trick that we actually do is we do what's called an air exchanger.
Okay.
So we actually, in the evening, of course, being an air quality nerd, we're going to install an automated damper when the air reaches a certain temperature and when it's actually cooler than my thermostat, it switches. so that it's actually just taking in outside air and it's filtering the outside air that's taken in. So I get really HEPA quality. We call it HyperHEPA at IQAir, but I get really high quality air that's not even cooled through my actual air conditioning system, but just with a special damper that we put together.
Is that an IQAir product?
We actually do this installation, so it's more of like a customized,
I see.
sort of a bespoke IQAir installation you can have when you have one of our whole house systems.
Oh, is it like an energy recovery ventilator?
It's actually a little bit better than an energy recovery ventilator because we're not recovering the energy. What we're doing is we're taking just an outside air damper, and it's essentially 100% ventilation air.
Okay.
So it's not even going through a system because we've determined through the thermostat that the air temperature is actually colder outside than it is indoors. So we're not even recovering the energy and sending the hot air outside. It's just an exchange, a ventilation exchange.
Nice. Okay, that's great.
Mm-hmm.
And then the whole house filtration would actually filter that air on top of that.
Exactly.
Okay, so you'd want both. Because IQAir, for listeners who aren't familiar, I'd be shocked because we've blogged about you guys. We've done giveaways. Like if you don't know IQAir, like smack. No. start reading those articles. Well, and honestly, I mean, Ron and I have tested your units. You guys have sent us
The laser air particle counter.
Oh, yeah.
laser air particle counters.
I love that. Do you still do that, Glory?
Yeah, we do. We count every single particle.
They are particle people.
It is amazing. We took that test. I mean, there was zero dust around that unit.
Yeah.
It was cranking. And that was not true of the other units that we actually tested at the same time with your laser air particle counter. So,
Yeah, exactly.
oh my God, it was so impressive. It just sucks everything that's bad out of the air right into the unit.
It does.
Well, let's talk about that since we're on this topic, because the particles that are most HEPA filters filter down to 0.3 microns or larger. But you guys have something called a HyperHEPA filter. And can you explain to our listeners what that is and why it's so important?
Our HyperHEPA filtration really allows the filtration of ultrafine particles. So ultrafine particles are truly the nasty stuff that you really want to pay attention to, because ultrafine particles are less than 0.1 microns. And those are the size particles that can penetrate the human cell, cause cancer, cause hypertension, and a whole lot of other health effects. And it's just because they're so small and tiny that they're able to penetrate the human body more than any other size particle. And that's really what HyperHEPA is about. It really focuses on the ultrafine particles and it filters them out at a rate of 99.5%.
Wow, that's incredible. Because, everybody listening has heard of a HEPA or a medical grade HEPA, but you guys have taken it literally to the next level. And what is the percentage of particulates that are actually that size? It's the majority, right?
Yeah.
The 0.003 or down to that level is the majority of particulates that we're exposed to, correct?
Absolutely. So 0.3 is just really the tip of the iceberg. But when it comes to the total quantity, the total amount of particles, we're going to have over 90% of all of the particles that are suspended and floating in the air will be in the ultrafine range. They're going to be less than 0.1 microns. And that's what a lot of folks don't know about.
Yeah. Now let's paint a picture. Okay. A single strand of hair is about a micron. Is that correct? Like if we were to measure it so people can understand what we're talking about?
A single strand of hair is a little bit more.
Okay.
I think it's somewhere between, depending, 10 or 20 microns inside.
Okay. So a hair would be 10 or 20.
Yes.
And traditional HEPA is filtering down to 0.3.
Yes.
So 0.3. And then the HyperHEPA is 0.003.
Absolutely.
Okay. I want to paint that picture because I'm sure people are like, what are they talking about? What's a micron? Why do I care?
Yeah.
I just want the mold and dust out of my air, right?
Right.
Very small level.
Yeah. And I love that you guys do that. And I love that you're going the extra mile because you talked about how these particulates can penetrate our cells, but they also can lodge deep into our lungs, correct?
That's correct. When you're talking about fine particles, So there's coarse particles. There's 3 different sizes of particles. We've got coarse particles, and coarse particles are like a pollen size that will drop out of the air, or they'll stop basically at our nose and at our throat, right? Then you have fine particles. Fine particles are going to get stopped at our lungs, and it's really sad. Our lungs are actually the filter for a fine particle. And then you've got ultrafine particle that go beyond our nose and throat, beyond our lungs, and can penetrate any single cell in the human body. And that's what ultrafine particles are.
And what would be something that we would recognize in that, right? Like smog, smoke, or are we talking?
You're talking about combustion?
Yeah, more in the gas.
Combustion particles, but also the most common form of ultrafine particle, a virus that we know about today, right?
Okay, viruses. So that's really important. Everybody's wanting to have the healthiest home, since COVID. And if they weren't considering that then, they are now, and realizing the importance of keeping their air really clean.
Absolutely.
It does sound like you're doing a lot already. Is there anything we missed on how IQAir is working to solve the problem of air pollution, both indoor, we kind of talked about that, and outdoor?
Yeah, well, one thing we're doing, and I don't know if you guys are aware or have our app, it's called Air Visual.
Air Visual.
But the Air Visual app has about 35 million users globally. And what it does is give you your local station, and it gives you what's called your hyperlocal data.
Nice. Yeah, so it's like a community kind of creating this data, right?
Exactly.
Did you create this community?
We actually acquired Air Visual, and then we just built upon it, and we got more and more users on board and more people crowdsourcing and sharing their data.
Oh, that's incredible.
That's so great. Yeah, so important.
We'll have that in the show notes for the listeners so they can jump in and participate in that. Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely put that in there. And then the Health Pro series, which is your main series of air purifiers, you guys offer the large unit, which filters, what is the square footage? It's over 1,000 square feet, right? 15.
Oh, 1,150 square feet?
1,150 for the large. And then you have a compact version.
Yes.
Which is what, 800 square feet?
It's about 1,100 square feet.
For the little one.
Oh, which little one?
The compact.
Okay. Our compact, the only difference between our Health Pro Plus and our Health Pro Compact is gas phase filtration, essentially.
Okay. Just the gas situation. And that's important because, like we talked about, if you have an air purifier that's not handling that very well, maybe you live near a freeway, maybe you are on a golf course and they're spraying pesticides, maybe you just are getting the outdoor air pollution from, like we talked about, freeway exhaust and combustion and that kind of thing. You definitely want to be addressing the gases as well as these allergens that we're talking about with the HyperHEPA with the particulates, and of course the big particles that we know, like the mold and the pollen and a lot of the allergens. So a lot of people get really confused, Glory, on, oh, there's so many air purifiers out there. What's the difference? Why is this one so much more expensive than this one that I can get for $99? And I always tell people, when it comes to air purifiers, at least in my experience, you get what you pay for because you're actually paying for the technology. I mean, that's not true in everything in life. Maybe a handbag, a designer handbag, it's just a name, but the handbag might be similar. But with an air purifier, you're really actually getting what you pay for. So sure, a $99 air purifier is better than nothing. But if you can afford it, I say go for the best that you can get.
Sure.
Would you agree?
Oh, wholeheartedly, Lisa. And the other difference is today we think about consumables a little bit differently. So we got to really think about our environmental impact. There's so many things that we buy, and air purifiers are included in what we actually buy that are actually kind of throwaway items sometimes. We go on Amazon or we go on the internet and we try to find a really good air purifier, and it might work for a month. And then we find out that air purifier we bought just turned into basically a fan, and it's just blowing around a bunch of dust.
Right.
And then you got to throw it away, or you got to find the filter. You can't find the filter, who knows what's all happening. So you kind of get what you pay for, especially in terms of IQAir, because we are Swiss made products. Our products are made in Switzerland.
Sprechen Sie Deutsch, Glory? Sprechen Sie Deutsch?
Jawohl.
Oh, sehr gut, wunderbar, ja.
Yeah, super. Yeah.
This conversation's not going to go very far. I think
you
Ron
can
just
test me. I
told
can
you
only
all
go
his
for
words.
100 words. Yeah, I'm good.
Not from you, Glory, from Ron.
Wie geht es dir?
Ik excellent. Right? You asked me how I was
Super.
doing, right? Yeah. So I know excellent.
Jawohl. Okay, I'm impressed.
Gesundheit. That's what I can say.
Thank you. My
Gesundheit,
wife
Glory.
is not, but I'm glad you're impressed, Glory. That's great.
I am impressed. There's not a lot of folks that actually speak German, and that's really impressive.
That's funny.
I think you heard it all, Glory.
Is that the
I think you heard the extent
Oh.
of Ron's.
No, I have a few more
The
words I'm saving for later.
pronunciation was excellent, though.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Glory. Appreciate that. See, thanks for telling my wife that too. So now she knows, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, you guys are definitely Swiss made. You have distribution center, obviously here in Southern California, other areas, but yeah, the Swiss made quality. How long has IQAir been in business? Over 60 years?
Yes,
Is that correct?
over 60
Okay.
years. So we're
Incredible.
we're a second generation air quality company, second generation. So there's so much that we know really about air quality, and hopefully we'll be very soon a third generation air quality company.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
Exciting.
Is that your children?
Yes, we've got 2 boys, but also at the same time, my husband's brother, my in-law, also has 2 boys the same exact age. So both of our boys
Really?
are 13 and 16, both of them.
Oh, how fun. That's
Yeah.
great.
That is great. Your story, and I know we kind of breezed over it, but I'm so impressed with how you became the CEO of IQAir and that you were one of the youngest entrepreneurs and that you launched this Health Pro series. It's really impressive. I mean, anyone who's familiar with the brand, just knowing that not only were you a female in this industry, at a time probably when you didn't see as many female CEOs and just, such a whippersnapper.
Thank you, Lisa.
It's really impressive. Yeah.
Thank you.
So kudos to you. Let's give a shout out to some of the other catalog of air purification solutions. So we talked about the Health Pro series, which includes, your large unit, then they have a compact unit,
Right.
and then you have the multi-gas, and then you have the Atem. Can you tell us a little bit about what that is and what that does?
Sure. It is essentially a 5-in-1 air purifier series where it's a personal air purifier. You can travel with it to those hotels. It's a car air purifier. So there's essentially 5 uses that you can have for this personal air purifier, and it does a space that's 300 square feet or smaller. And really, when it comes to small spaces, it's your system for small spaces.
It is. We have one. I'm looking at it right behind me in my office. Yes, the white one. I love it. And it's really great, like Glory said, because I can have it here in my office. And now Ron and I are going to go on a road trip. And you guys actually sell a converter kit. I don't know if that's the correct term, where you can strap it to the back of the seat. And actually now this has become a car air purifier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, really important for everybody, but especially the community of chemically sensitive people. We have a lot of chemically sensitive people that they can't travel because of that.
Yeah.
So you could take this in the car. Your kids are going to be healthy. Your pets are going to be healthy. Then you get to the hotel. Boom. You put it in your room. Hotel air is really difficult for me.
Oh,
I do not do well in hotels because of the air. It's either too hot or too cold or too loud or, it's hard to
and
sleep.
don't think about the pillows either, right?
Yeah, forget about
For
pillows.
sure.
Forget about. And then actually, if you have an RV, you could put this air purifier in your RV. It's perfect for your desk, right? Or a small room, baby's room, makes a great
nursery
air purifier. Yeah. So I love it. I wanted to give a shout out to that because I know it's one of your newest in the line and it's so great.
Thank you, Lisa. I love it too. And boy, we see it a lot on folks' desks. So even folks in cubicles really, truly like to have it so that they can breathe the cleanest air there.
Yeah. And now we've got everybody working from home.
Oh, yeah.
We need to make sure that our home offices are healthy too, because we're spending, I think a study was 87% of people are spending time indoors. And then another, 6% in their car. As 87% of people spend
6% car for sure. I think that was it. Yeah.
their day in buildings, another 6% in their vehicles.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah. We're just 90, I think it's overall on average, like 90% of our time indoors.
Which is it's crazy. No one typically thinks about the indoor air quality of their home until like it's too late. I remember a few years ago in California, all the fires, right? And like, now it's important. Let's get a portable air purifier. I'm sure that was blockbuster for you. with the time of this recording, it's middle of February. And unfortunately, we've had some accidents in places like Ohio, some of these chemical spills.
Oh, yeah.
So I would imagine your phones are probably off the hook with people having questions about what can I do to protect my indoor air quality? And do you have any comments about that? Not to put you on the spot, but it certainly is timely.
No, I definitely do have comments about that because I've been a part of an air quality work group, and I was just so surprised that after that spill, that one of the first things within a couple hours or so that was said that the air quality is safe. So I'm really, as an air quality expert, I want to know, how was that actually determined?
Yeah, right.
Because I know as an air quality expert, basically find what you're looking for in terms of testing. So I'm really not sure about the testing that was done so quickly that was
Yeah.
able to be determined.
Right.
The good thing about it is that as time goes on, the what's called prevailing winds actually does allow for a dilution of air quality chemicals that really are the center of around this toxic pollution that's talked about. So dilution and prevailing winds over time will distribute and hopefully get the air quality down to where it needs to be. But the longer that this many, many hours that you have after that particular incident took place, the more dilution you can expect. So that's a
Yeah.
good thing.
I know they were concerned because there was this dark cloud of gases from this spill, right?
That's moving to New York.
Yeah, to the New York area. It's obviously diluting
That's
itself.
just
but
one of the
that's-
spills.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, there's been 4. There's been like 4 hazardous material spills on trains, I think, just in the last couple of weeks. There's been Michigan, Ohio.
Right.
What else? I'm forgetting. Anyway, but like we always say, we can't control the outside world, but we can definitely control our homes, and we can create a safe sanctuary, right? And that's really also what Ron and I teach. Like, I can't control the hotel room completely, but I can control my bedroom completely, and our bedroom and our home, and making sure that we're doing all we can do to eliminate toxins, to eliminate biological hazards and materials, as well as chemical. And, just being smart and being savvy and being aware of what you bring into your home, because we are bringing in products that off-gas VOCs on a daily basis. And if you don't have a good air purification system, where are those VOCs and those things going to go? You're going to inhale them, right?
Absolutely. And that's really what it comes down to. And that's kind of the basis around IQAir. And what we really truly believe in is that we want people to reduce their exposure. And how do we do that? We help them by letting them know what the outside air actually is and giving them tools so that they can, just as you described, Lisa, really take control over their home and make their home really, truly a sanctuary. That's absolutely, we're synergizing here.
Yeah. It's interesting. Like, it should be a law that when you get a new house, you should have to have an air purifier in it. Like we wouldn't not put a dishwasher in,
right,
or a sink. Why don't we just make that a standard?
Absolutely.
So we talked about the dangers of dust on this podcast in the past, including for listeners who might have missed this. There was this first of its kind study where they took dust samples, and it was Harvard and University of San Francisco and NRDC came together, and they found 45 chemicals present in dust, including one that caused cancer. And they found that the average dust sample that they collected from just houses contained 10 chemicals. And these were comprised of 4 classes. So they had flame retardants, phenols, PFASs, and plasticizers. So dust is not just annoying. Keeping your home tidy and clean and dust-free is actually a very, very healthy thing to do. So, Glory, when it comes to sleeping and these dust mites, they like these warm, dark environments. What are they and how can they impact our health?
Well, they can be all over our bedding and all over our pillows, as we know. And there are ways that we can actually get rid of them. And that's through this heating process that you talked about. But you can't do that to your mattress. It's really big. There's a logistical problem, basically, in trying to do so. What can you do? You can do sometimes encapsulation. Do you talk about that sometimes, Lisa, about encapsulating?
No. Oh, are you talking about a dust mite cover,
Yes.
like a barrier? Yes, for sure.
Okay, so that's definitely one thing that needs to be done. You can also change your bedding also regularly. Your pillows, there's really maintenance that needs to go on with your pillows. You've got to change out your pillows also regularly. And like what you said, if you can't afford to change out your pillows, then what you can do is put it in the dryer for a certain amount of time as well. But these dust mites, it's not necessarily the dust mites causing as much of the problem as let me just say it, the dust mite droppings.
Droppings, yeah. But see, that's even a cute word. That's even a cute word, Lori. Could have been worse.
Yes, so it's the dust mite droppings that are truly the allergen. So the dust mite, not the allergen, but the dust mite droppings are immediately what's causing and triggering immune system for folks that have a dust mite allergy. And these are smaller than the dust mites, of course, and can become airborne and get you all sneezy and messed up in the worst way.
Yeah. So would you say the bedroom, if you had an air purifier and you have a family, you have a 2-story house, where would you put that air purifier? Where would you suggest?
Always in the room that you spend the most amount of time. So you always want to make sure that you and the people that you really care the most about are breathing the cleanest air. So it needs to be near you guys.
Okay. All right. Perfect. So that might be the family room or it might be the bedroom, but then everyone has to fight over that. So I guess get a couple. Definitely get a couple.
Whole house system as well.
Yeah.
So,
okay. Yeah. Does IQAir, I know you have a whole house air filtration. Is that
we do
consumers or is that commercial only?
We have one for consumers as well as commercially. So we do it all.
You do it all. Okay, excellent. Yeah.
That's probably a good segue. We talked about the Atem X, for example. We talked a little bit about it, but is there anything that we missed? What is different about this item and makes it the best option for improving sleep quality?
Okay. Well, it has the highest CADR. It also is Energy Star rated and it's quiet. So the difference, what most folks might know, you might know IQAir and you know the Health Pro Plus, but the Atem, it's pretty much so quieter. It's almost twice as quiet as our Health Pro series.
That's perfect for the bedroom.
Yeah.
Most people sleep better with a little soft white noise. I know I do, right? Because it kind of tunes out the outside noise. So if you like a lot of white noise and you like it louder, the Health Pro Plus series is great for you. Otherwise, is it Atem? I think we were calling it Atem. Is it Atem?
Technically, it is Atem, but a lot of people do say Atem, but it's a German word.
Deutsch,
it means jawohl. It means breath.
Here we go.
Right? So it means breath.
It means breath, right?
Yeah.
I love that. That's so great. That was a perfect name. And Glory, can you please leave our listeners with the importance of changing their filters? Because this is a problem. A lot of people, like you talked about, they get the air purifier, they're all gung-ho, they use it, they love it, they're feeling better, and maybe they change it once, and then they get lazy or they forget, and that thing's just sitting there like worse off than it started because it's so cluttered with dust and dirt and debris.
Right. If you have really one of these kind of typical consumer, less expensive $50 or $90 air purifier, it's actually going to stop working as an air purifier after about a month. So you're not even purifying anything. What it's doing after that time, it's essentially just turning over the dust and becoming a fan, actually, instead of an air purifier. So when it comes to IQAir, we have really long intervals in which you've got to change your filters. It could be a year, it could be 18 months to when you need to change your filter. But you have to change your filters if you have an IQAir unit, not because it's turned into a fan, but because the filters are holding so much dust that you're actually going to strain your fan after a certain point in time. So that's really the difference. And talk about quality, and the difference is that your IQAir filter has collected so much dust that if you don't change it, you're straining your fan.
Yeah. It's kind of like your HVAC. You know, we're big on, and even the EPA says change your HVAC filter every season, every 3 months. And so many people, when Ron and I used to inspect homes, we would first check their HVAC filter. And Oh my gosh, the dust would be big
Yeah.
like that.
Right.
They're like,
Yeah.
what is that? I didn't know I had a filter there. Oh, that's what that grill
We
is
get
for.
that all the time.
Do you?
Yeah.
And you're like, wait, you're paying a lot in your electric bill because that thing is having to work so hard
Right.
just to pump air through that. And now you're filtering dirty air through your house. So filter, filter, filter. It's like anything. It's like you wouldn't miss your oil change in your car, right?
Yeah.
You wouldn't think twice about not getting your oil change. Everything in your home, whether it's your water filter or your air filter or anything like that.
Right.
Refrigerator filters was another big one. Ron, remember we used to see people like taking water out of their fridge and we're like, oh, is that filtered? Oh yeah, there's a filter in there.
And it's only
Oh,
carbon
did you
based
change
too.
it?
So yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
Oh no. They wouldn't even know there's a filter. They'd say, oh, it's filtered because it comes from the refrigerator. And we're like, did you change the filter? What filter?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Exactly.
Tap water.
Exactly.
They're
That's
just
why
like-
actually our whole house systems, I don't know if you're aware, but our whole house systems, what's called a 50% duty cycle, you actually only need to replace the filter every 3 years.
Oh, that's
So,
excellent.
and then we actually come out and we change that filter. So that's really exactly what you're talking about. People forget about that.
They forget. Yeah.
And that's why there's maintenance plans. And that's why we do the whole house system so that we make sure that those houses have clean air and that they continue to have clean air. And
That's
that
awesome.
Those filters are changed.
Yeah. Your units all have filter change indicator lights, correct?
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Okay. And that's really helpful because not all air purifiers do, and you'll get confused.
Yep.
So we all get busy. Well, Lori, thank you so much for being with us. Is there anything else you want to leave listeners with?
Just our app, and it's free. So you can actually download our Air Visual app at the App Store or at Google Play. So go for it.
Awesome. We'll put links to both of those in the show notes.
There's 35
remember-
million people have that application. Wow, that is
Oh,
that
amazing.
is a
globally.
large audience. Excellent.
Yeah, excellent job in everything you guys are doing. Remember, friends, as Lyndon B. Johnson said, the American people have a right to air that they and their children can breathe without fear. To learn more about IQAir, please visit www.iqair.com.
And as usual, we'll have all the links in the show notes at ronandlisa.com/podcast. Stay tuned for next episode and get ready to up-level your health. See you then. Bye.
This episode of the Healthy Home Hacks podcast has ended, but be sure to subscribe for more healthy living strategies and tactics to help you create the healthy home you've always dreamed of. And don't forget to rate and review so we can continue to bring you the best content. See you on the next episode.